Hey, what's up? My name is Ange, and we are going to be talking about all the books that I read in March and all the books on the floor here that I plan to read in April. We're going to start off the video by looking at all the books that I read in March on my Goodreads account because I never know the order that I read them. The entire month always ends up like a blur. Starting off the month of March, I read Funny You Should Ask by Alyssa Sussman. This book is about a writer named Chani who interviews Gabe Parker. Now, Gabe Parker is an actor who's going to be James Bond. Nobody wants him to be James Bond. They don't see him as that. They thought his co-star should be him, and they just don't see it. So his PR team hires her to write an interview to basically fluff him up and have other people, or really make it able for other people to see him as James Bond. It flip-flops back and forth between the original interview and 10 years later when she interviews him again. For me, I rated this 2.5 stars. It just wasn't for me. I felt like the characters had no chemistry. I feel like it didn't flow very well. It took me a very long time to get through it. I dreaded reading it. Now, the writing was good, but for me, it just wasn't it. So unfortunately, I did give this one 2.5 stars, but maybe in the future I'll give it another chance. It was highly rated, and I feel like everybody was talking about it, so that's why maybe it was me, but my ratings never make sense, so maybe another time. The second book that I read was The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. Now, this book is about a girl named Jess who is getting away from problems that she had, and she calls her stepbrother and she's like, hey, I'm gonna come stay with you in your apartment. And he's like, whoa, what do you mean? And then all of a sudden you hear him turn around and, what are you doing here? And you got to figure out what happened to him. Where did he go? The whole apartment complex, everyone's being weird. She can't figure out what's going on. They're like, why are you asking questions? And it's just the whole thing. I rated this book 4 stars basically for the ending. The beginning to the middle was very, very slow for me. I was not liking it. I wanted to DNF it, but I heard so many good things about this book that I was like, I have to push through. I have to figure out what happened. But once I got to the middle point and everything started to connect and you realized how all the characters were connected and you finally got to the end, it was like, oh my god, is that really what just happened? But I really like this book. I rated it a 4 stars, and I would recommend this book. The third book that I read this month was Things We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score. This is the second book in the Knock 'Em Out series, and I love her writing. This book is about Angelina, or Lena, and Nash, and basically their whole adventure. He finds out what she does for a living. She helps him through healing after being shot, and it continues on with the story from the first book, which I don't want to spoil anything, but if you're hearing about this book, then you've definitely read the first one. I thought it was really good. I rated it 4 stars. I love this town. I wish that I lived here. I love the small town feel, and I love Lucy Score's writing. The fourth book that I read this month was Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie. Now, I have finally started the series. Everyone says that you should read it. It is a incredibly long series, but I am finally starting it. Now, what does bother me is that we are going through all the book covers. So I do have, and you'll see in the April TBR, that I am back and forth between whatever covers that I could get or the covers that I bought, because I got them all for Christmas. Everybody knows what this is about, but if you don't, this is about Lily Calloway and Lauren Hale and them trying to get over their addictions and be better for each other so that they could be together. I loved Krista and Becca's writing. I feel like I was just talking to a friend. It was very easy to read, and although it covered harder topics, I felt like it was so interesting, and I just kept flipping the pages, and I really ran through this one. I think I rated this a 4 stars, 4.5 stars, because you can't rate by halves on Goodreads, but this book was so good, and I recommend the series to everybody. I'm a Patreon on their website. I want all that extra content. I love looking at the family tree, and I eventually am going to read the Like Us series the same. The fifth book that I read this month was Ricochet by Krista and Becca Ritchie. Now, I picked this book up immediately after I finished Addicted to You. This book is about the continuation of Lily and Lo being in rehab, and Lily trying to stay celibate and keep her promise to Lo to not cheat on him. Now, her addiction makes that so hard for her, and you hear all her thoughts, and you really see how she's fighting to stay good for him and how she wants their relationship to be well. She goes to therapy, she uncovers a lot about herself and why she is the way that she is, and you really see the found family aspect in here and how her sister Rose and the boys really just help her through it and help her heal, and at the end you get to see them. I rated this book 4.5 stars. 4.5 stars again. Goodreads, you can't really do half, so I don't remember because I don't really write reviews anymore. The fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I can't count today. The sixth and final book that I read for March was Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carlino. I am so happy that I picked up this book and I was just flying through this. This book follows, why don't I remember the names? Anyone else do that? Or just kind of Matt, Gracie, great. This book follows Matt and Grace and their story to being together 15 years ago, what happened in between, why did they break up, why all of a sudden did they stop talking, and finally in the end when they get back together. Now I don't want to give too much away with this story, but basically this is about Matt posting a misconnection when he sees Grace on the train and he can't get to her, they can't talk, and he has no way of talking to her, but he's like, oh my god, you're finally there. And it switches right in the middle to what their whole story is about. So this is basically the beginning part. The majority of this is 15 years ago, and then this is them trying to navigate life once they meet again. I love this book. I'm so glad that I gave this book a chance. I rated this 4.5 stars. It felt so real, and normally I like to read about things that I can totally escape and feels like not real life, but this felt so real. It didn't feel like it was so crazy out there, like, oh my gosh, that's so unrealistic. This was so good, and I recommend this book to everybody. Now we are gonna get into all the books that I plan to read in April. We are gonna start off with Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I was at Barnes & Noble the other day with my friends. We all picked this book up. I went into it completely blind. I'm on chapter 18, still using the new membership thing from Barnes & Noble as my bookmark. This book is about Evangeline Fox and how she always believed in true love and happy endings until Luke, at least I'm pretty sure, I can never pronounce names, L-U-C, pretty sure it's Luke. Luke is about to marry another person. Now, she wants to stop the wedding, so she strikes a deal with the immortal Prince of Hearts, but she learns that bargaining with him is so dangerous. Like, she shouldn't have done it. She says that she shouldn't have done it. I'll give you that little spoiler. She knows that she shouldn't have done it. And he has plans for her, and it'll either end in the greatest happily ever after or the most exquisite tragedy. Now, I didn't think I was going to like this. I was kind of over fantasy and all that, but I'm 18 chapters in and I cannot get enough of it. I love it. My friend Jess chose this book. We all grabbed it, but that is because of Haley Pham and Sarah Curley. They read this, they said it was amazing, and now me and my friends are going to give it a shot, so I'm excited to finish this book. And I see that there are 2 more. Again, I went in completely blind. I got the exclusive Barnes & Noble edition, so I like the color. It's very pretty. The next book that I'm going to read in April, and this is in no particular order, just sometime during April, I'm going to read Under the Lights by Abby Glines. I read this book, well, not this book, I read the first book in September, and I really love that like fall small town feel and everything like that. So I like to have on heavy books or fantasy books, I like to have that palate cleanser kind of thing of a very easy read, something that I really enjoy. So I like these little football books, and it's basically about Willa Ames, and she can't erase the bad decisions of her past that led her down the path that she's on now. But she can fight for forgiveness from her family, and she can protect herself by refusing to let anyone else get close to her. But the high school quarterback and town golden boy used to be best friends with Willa, and she even had a crush on him when they were kids. But that's all changed now, and her life choices have made her a different person from the girl he used to know. So it's all about like this whole big friend group, and I know what the series is basically about, but I am going into this book blind. I feel like it's better that way, unless it's a big series. Like I read ACOTAR, I read that whole series during January and February. Like that one, you just can't go into it blind. This book, I don't hear a lot about it. I really like this series. I like how she writes. It's easy. I'm excited for this one. 2 more books that I plan on reading in April are Addicted for Now and Kiss the Sky by Krista and Becca Ritchie. And just like I said in the beginning, These books are whatever books that I could get my hands on during November and December, so I don't usually like people on the covers, and I know that the new covers are coming out. I'm going to get them because I love the exclusive content that comes in every book, and you can't get that on their Patreon anymore because they're being published within the book. So Addicted for Now is, again, continuing the story of Lily and Lo and their whole friend group. I love that it's big like that. I love the white covers. Their covers are just so pretty. And then Kiss the Sky, I'm pretty sure, is the very first book with Connor and Rose, and I already love Connor. I feel like Connor is probably my favorite, and I've only read Addicted to You and Ricochet, but I feel like Connor is definitely who I'm kind of rooting for, and I really like Rose, so we're here. I also want to read The Guest List by Lucy Foley. Everybody talks about this book. It is about the wedding, an exclusive wedding on a remote Irish island. The bride, the plus one, the best man, the wedding planner, and the bridesmaid. They all have a secret, all have a motive, but only one is a murderer. I liked The Paris Apartment. I feel like this is going to have the same feel. Again, another palate cleanser in between a giant series like the Addicted Calorie series. So I plan on reading this, and I got this one from Target, and I refuse to rip off the sticker because I'm definitely going to rip the book like I did to Funny You Should Ask. The sixth book that I plan on reading in April is The Other Woman by Sandy Jones. I didn't see a ton about this, but I saw it on TikTok. I've had it for months. I just haven't gone and picked it up. He loves you. Adam adores Emily. Emily thinks Adam's perfect, the man she thought she'd never meet. But she loves you not. Lurking in the shadows is a rival, a woman who shares a deep bond with the man she loves, and she'll stop at nothing. Emily chose Adam, but she didn't choose his mother, Pammy. There's nothing a mother wouldn't do for her son, and now Emily is about to find out just how far Pammy will go to get what she wants. Emily gone forever. The Other Woman will have you questioning her on every page in this fiendishly twisty psychological thriller about a man, his new girlfriend, and a mother who will never let him go. I feel like this is going to be such a good book. I love psychological thrillers. Like, if you know any more, please recommend them to me. I loved The Perfect Marriage, One of Us is Dead by Geneva Rose. Those books are so good. So I'm really excited for this one. I feel like it's going to be really interesting. I heard about it on TikTok, and I'm excited to read it. If you have any book recommendations or any videos that you are interested in seeing, please comment below, and I will see you next time. Bye!